My dear students, welcome back. I do hope that you all had time to complete the psychological test by now. A few of you already sent to me and I have replied. Some of you, I might take a little more time to complete the process. Here is a quotation. The razor blade is sharp but can't cut a tree. The axe is strong but can't cut the hair. Everyone is important according to his or her own unique purpose. These psychological tests in a way reveal to us who we are and how different we are from the other. One may be like a razor blade, sharp enough, but can't cut a tree. Another one is like an axe, strong, but can't cut the hair. So we might do uniquely things that are according to the gifts given to us, personalities given to us, styles and resources we have. Everyone is important. Never look down on anyone unless you're admiring their shoes. Never get too attached to something that isn't yours. If it's a gift, if it is something, if it's a person, whatever, remember that principle. Don't get too attached. From last week's learnings, we could probably remember it's not about learning some definitions. You surely require that for the exam. But each week you got to practice and live what is taught. Show in the effect in your activities that you are actually practicing this. When you do the test, and those of you send me those test results, you are used to writing your numbers. Your number you know, but I may not know, others may not know. I look for your names. So alphabetically, I can locate you quickly from the file, from the folder. Therefore, you'd always see practically every structure has a function. How does it help the person who is going to use this information correctly? That information has to be used by somebody else who may not know your number, but you may have the name. Otherwise, I'd go and search and find and match all that. In the MBTI test, there were two things you had to give: the letters and the sum, the number. Some of you said the letters, but not the percentage score, because it matters a lot. So read carefully the little note there. But some of you miss noticing that. So in the future, when you get a job, when you go for the interview, the placement, read all the details, the fine print. You miss some time. Some of you. That's the purpose of education. I taught you about structure and function. In that there was a structure. Okay, so you need to know what is the purpose of that structure and how to use them. So some of you send me the names or without the names. So what we learn here, we need to put them into practice. Not only for the exams, you need some of that, but really for life. So beyond the degrees and knowledge and other assets, you carry your personality, how you function, how you come across to people. So it's an important thing the purpose for which we do these things. The structure of our brain, you heard many times this. We normally speak about the left brain and the right brain. And we say the left brain is male. When I say male or female, I don't mean man and woman. Every person has male elements and female elements. So when we say left brain, that means it's the male, means you differentiate right and wrong, good and bad, clear, not clear. These things we differentiate. Normally they say, your left ear controlled by the right brain can hear music and sound. I heard something. I heard a word. Your right ear distinguishes, controlled by left brain. So left brain is the male brain that differentiates, and the right brain connects in the conversation to people, situations. So you say, oh, that's a nice ice cream. I like to have it. But the decision must be taken. I should buy or not. When you pass by a restaurant, you pass by something, you get an aroma, and it makes sense say, oh, it's good or bad, or my childhood memories, my family memories, all here differentiates. And then decision, I would buy, I will pass by, I will reject, is not good for me, is taken by your right brain. Okay? A few things I have put there. Left brain, gender, right and wrong, good and bad, possible, impossible, excuse me, acceptable, non-acceptable, looks at differences, right brain connects choices, decisions. So most of these are for your information, not for the exam. But at least you know the first part, difference between left brain, right brain. One distinguishes, okay, this one distinguishes, this one connects. You should know that. Again, there are more things here. Rational, intuitive. You did that for the MBTI. Okay, MBTI here is the element of T, and here it can, sorry, the S, and it can be the N here. Intuitive. So left brain, planned and structured. You can see that, planned and structured. It's more fluid and spontaneous. Okay. Some of the MBTI points are here again. I heard something. Okay. I heard a word. I am moving on. According to a lot of studies, a lot of neuroscientists and psychologists believe that teenagers make a lot of mistakes On a motorcycle, how fast I can go, I can control the bike and stop it in time, or falling in love, walking away at night, doing the number of drinks or the beer you have. Lot of judgments are poorly taken because these two brains are not connected. You know good and bad, not healthy, not healthy, all this you know here. But this brain and that brain have to connect to make the right decision. I can't go too fast on a motorcycle. I can't stop it if there is a patch of water or oil on the road, another vehicle coming across. I can't put the brake and control it. A lot of those aspects we are aware, but you don't take the decision, the excitement of the journey, excitement of falling in love with somebody, excitement of the friendship in having some beer or drink. They say it only connects at 23. Interesting. Some of you are just 22 now. Therefore, you have to know why this driving, drinking, suicide, and all that you hear in young people, their judgment, the ability to have judgment is not developed enough. Why in India the parents have control and they take a decision until you reach certain adulthood, certain age, you understand, is scientific now. I'm going to give you this little video of famous Daniel Goleman, who is the one who discovered and developed the idea of the emotional intelligence, EQ, also speaks about this Wi-Fi in the brain, which means when a young man looks at a young girl, there's a Wi-Fi that goes through the eye. Boom, it connects. That's a girl for me. That's the boy for me. So there is something that connects through the eyes. So you understand why if there are 5 girls standing in front of a school bus stop and a boy going on a motorcycle, and have a look at them and he make an eye contact with a girl, he knows she will fall. So an important thing for young girls to know is, you are in the train, you are in the bus, you may be standing by the roadside. Don't allow eye contact because you give an impression, I am ready, I am for you. Let us listen to Daniel Goleman.
Today, we're hearing from Daniel Goleman, best-selling author of the revolutionary new book, Social Intelligence, The New Science of Human Relationships.
When I wrote the book, Emotional Intelligence, in 1995, I really was basing it on a newly emerged field called affective neuroscience. It was the study of brains and emotions. Now, in the last 3 or 4 years, still another new field has emerged, social neuroscience, which is the new understanding of what's going on inside our brains while we interact. So social intelligence is the interpersonal part of emotional intelligence. It's an entirely new science of human relationships. What social neuroscience is telling us is that our brains are mainly designed to connect to the brains of other people. And the elegance of this is stunning. For example, they just discovered that when a woman who a man finds attractive looks straight in his eyes, not to the side, not a coy little flirting glance, but straight in his eyes, it triggers the release of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure. So what that does is make the social brain a primary connector for the biological future of the species. We are wired to connect in ways we had not realized, and it means that our interactions aren't trivial. It means that our interactions with anybody are a two-way street where one person's brain is setting the other person's brain into a certain range, and that person's brain in return is setting the other person's brain for better or for worse in any of 1,000 emotional states. And that this goes on second to second to second out of our awareness. But this chatter between brains is what keeps an interaction in synchrony, is what keeps things on track in a conversation, is what allows rapport, is the basis for love. It's the basis for any effective interaction. Very important in understanding the implications of how we're wired connected is what's called mind sight. Mind sight means simply that we recognize, that we sense what the other person is feeling, what the other person is thinking, what the other person intends. And actually this work is done for us continually by mirror neurons, by these newly discovered brain cells that are our internal Wi-Fi. Because we're connected in this way, it means that there is an emotional economy, that there's a subterranean give and take between us at the emotional level that adds up over the course of a day or a week or a lifetime. And it means that other people make us feel better or worse, or we make them feel better or worse. And if it goes in just one direction, it starts to matter biologically. It starts to matter for our health. It starts to matter for our marriage. So it's not.
So you have the four-factor theory. Look at that here. The physical appearance, that's what they see first. Anybody, people see first our appearance. The way we present ourselves, that way we are dressed, the way we walk, the way we conduct ourselves, all that is the first we notice. The second thing we notice is the personality of the person, how we behave, how you conduct yourself. And third is the way you communicate. But at the end of the day, after seeing all that, your values will come out. Your values will see. They will see by all of this the values you hold. So definitely that would stand out. I'm going to present to you two videos. They're basically actually talks. One is known to you now, Malala Yousafzai, you know her. And the talk she gives at the UN when she got an award. And let's check these four-factor theory in this presentation and in her life.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, dear sisters and brothers. Today is a day of great happiness for me. I'm humbled that the Nobel Committee has selected me for this precious award. Thank you to everyone for your continued support and love. Thank you for the letters and cards that I still receive from all around the world. Your kind and encouraging words strengthens and inspires me. I would like to thank my parents for their unconditional love. Thank you to my father for not clipping my wings and for letting me fly. Thank you to my mother for inspiring me to be patient, and to always speak the truth, which we strongly believe is the true message of Islam. And also, thank you to all my wonderful teachers who inspired me to believe in myself and be brave. I'm proud, but in fact I'm very proud to be the first Pashtun, the first Pakistani, and the youngest person to receive this award. Along with that, I'm pretty certain that I'm also the first recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize who still fights with her younger brothers. I want there to be peace everywhere, but my brothers and I are still working on that. I'm also honored to receive this award together with Kailash Satyarthi, who has been a champion for children's rights for a long time, twice as long, in fact, than I have been alive. I'm proud that we can work together. We can work together and show the world that an Indian and a Pakistani, they can work together and achieve their goals of children's rights. Dear brothers and sisters, I was named after the inspirational Malala of Maiwand, who is the Pashtun Joan of Arc. The word Malala means grief-stricken, sad. But in order to lend some happiness to it, my grandfather would always call me Malala, the happiest girl in the world. And today, I'm very happy that we are together fighting for an important cause. This award is not just for me. It is for those forgotten children who want education. It is for those frightened children who want peace. It is for those voiceless children who want change. I'm here to stand up for their rights, to raise their voice. It is not time to pity them. It is not time to pity them. It is time to take action. So it becomes the last time. The last time. So it becomes the last time that we see a child deprived of education.
I'm moving on. We have a good picture of what she's presenting to us and to the world. Remember, in the four-factor theory, at the end of the day, what matters is the values you hold. Not your external appearance, neither your personality, even your communication style, the accent or the purity of language or a style of language. No, the values you hold. Now, she began with the value of her own religion, a faith dimension, starting with peace, respect for the others in the audience, above all, the value of education for the girl child. Therefore, the value she communicates stands out mostly. Once that comes out, people may forget the dress she wore or other matters. So remember, we carry our values on our shoulders and we communicate that. But the way she communicated also is important. How, way you speak in the interview, in the placement, non-threatening yet forceful, powerful. Repetition of important points, reinforcing, appealing. The we language, the often greeting style, even in the light-hearted joking style, all have their impact on the audience. A personality you can pick up from all that. Firm yet gentle, calm yet values imbibed. And finally, her appearance. Dressed appropriately as a Pakistani and as a Muslim, incorporating in her, according to her age and culture, but keeping an eye contact. So Malala exhibited these, the four-factor theory. This is SJIM Suzuki.
Hello, I'm Severin Suzuki, speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. Vanessa Setti, Morgan Geisler, Michelle Quigg, and me. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. I am afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I'm afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it. I used to go fishing in Vancouver, my home, with my dad, until just a few years ago we found the fish full of cancers. And now we hear of animals and plants going extinct, every day vanishing forever. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles and rainforests full of birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. I'm only a child, and I don't have all the solutions. But I want you to realize, neither do you. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring the salmon back up a dead stream. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. Here, you may be delegates of your government, business people, organizers, reporters, or politicians, but really, your mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, aunts and uncles, and all of you are someone's child. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family, 5 billion strong, in fact, 30 million species strong. And borders and governments will never change that. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all in this together and should act as one single world towards one single goal. In my anger, I am not blind, and in my fear, I am not afraid of telling the world how I feel. In my country, we make so much waste. We buy and throw away, buy and throw away, buy and throw away, and yet northern countries will not share with the needy. Even when we have more than enough, we are afraid to share. We are afraid to let go of some of our wealth. In Canada, we live the privileged life, with plenty of food, water, and shelter. We have watches, bicycles, computers, and television sets. The list could go on for 2 days. 2 days ago here in Brazil, we were shocked when we spent time with some children living on the streets. This is what one child told us. "I wish I was rich. And if I were, I would give all the street children food, clothes, medicines, shelter, and love and affection. If a child on the streets who has nothing is willing to share, why are we who have everything still so greedy?" I can't stop thinking that these are children my own age, that it makes a tremendous difference where you are born. That I could be one of those children living in the favelas of Rio. I could be a child starving in Somalia, or a victim of war in the Middle East, or a beggar in India. I am only a child, yet I know if all the money spent on war was spent on finding environmental answers, ending poverty, and finding treaties, what a wonderful place this earth would be. At school, even in kindergarten, you teach us how to behave in the world. You teach us not to fight with others, to work things out, to respect others, to clean up our mess, not to hurt other creatures, to share, not be greedy. Then why do you go out and do the things you tell us not to do? Do not forget why you are attending these conferences, who you're doing this for. We are your own children. You are deciding what kind of a world we are growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, "Everything's going to be all right. It's not the end of the world, and we're doing the best we can." But I don't think you can say that to us anymore. Are we even on your list of priorities? My dad always says, "You are what you do, not what you say." Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You grown-ups say you love us, but I challenge you, please, make your actions reflect your words. Thank you.
So you saw how powerful it was. So she communicates, Saban Suzuki communicates the values, taking care of nature, the environment, how we treat garbage and things like ecology, the future of the children, discipline, respect for others and nature. They collected the money themselves and traveled 3,000 miles, these 13-year-olds. And they went around talking to slum children. If you go to Rio, Brazil, in the favelas, favela means slums, you'll find hundreds of children around there. And they communicated with them. Non-threatening, but facts and forceful. Again, you notice, respectful, well-researched, words well chosen. And from experience, for a 13-year-old girl, this is fantastic type of communication. Pleasing, I am only a child. That touch must have touched the vulnerable girl, young age. She kept repeating that phrase, I am only a child. I'm not talking from the top, I'm pleading from the bottom. It is more appealing, that personality there. And notice how she was dressed, appropriately but very simply. No distraction, no show off or anything. So the four-factor theory, how applied in life, can be very forceful and very presentable and very appealing, and it has an effect. It has a tremendous effect, you notice. So once again, physical appearance, personality, communication, values. Let's put it together. It is values that we communicate. It is values that we communicate. Values we communicate through our personality and our appearance, how we appear. So values we communicate through our personality and appearance. So when you go for your interview placement, remember that you're going to communicate your values through these as well. So number one, value. Number two, communication. Number three, your personality. And number four, your physical appearance. That is manners and dress and all that come there. So you look cultured, you're knowledgeable, you have expertise, you have commitment, all that people notice eventually. And your communication style there, manners, language, the way you dress, presentation, body language,